Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. It's March the 24th, 2022. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Glad you could join us here today. If it's your first time, welcome on in. We talk about video games, movies, television. Make as many dick-related analogies as humanly possible. And occasionally reminisce about the time that a small Asian man walked into a locally owned sex shop and bought up the whole damn place. Hope you're having a good one out there. We've got another great show lined up for you today, despite the anemic. If you could see these or what I would call our patch notes, it is anemic up in this bitch this week. There is not a lot going on, but we'll make the most of what we've got as always, so that you can get to work being slightly entertained while stuck in traffic. But before we get into all of that good stuff, first question I've got, it's the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how's your week?
It was another week. That's pretty much it. We're back to that now. Nothing crazy has happened. This last week actually kind of flew by. Got to celebrate Dad's 60th birthday there, I think.
Right.
Like Saturday. But outside of that, man, fuck all. Haven't done anything.
That's
Streamed.
fine.
Been streaming. That's been it. Streaming
That's
and chilling.
fine. Word on the street is OTT might pick up the microphone again. Can you confirm or deny?
I can't confirm. I am working on some music. I can't confirm.
Okay. Exciting times. SoundCloud about to get the new fresh drop.
There you go.
In the not too distant. My week was another week at the house, as you might imagine. Continuing to work on that. It's official. This has long surpassed the Tinder files for weekly updates from Adam. The house is continuing to be worked on. We did get a fair amount done this week, though, which was good. We were doing a lot of mudding and taping this week because we got the majority of the drywall that needed to go up back in place, and inching ever closer to getting ready to paint a couple of rooms that need to be painted so that we can do other things within those rooms. So yeah, that was mostly the week, was just a lot of drywall work, and amongst other things, a couple things, but drywall was the majority of it. So other than that, it's just been the same old same. I haven't heard back from the accountant to inform me of just how sore my asshole is going to be just yet. So every day I wake up, I looked at,
my asshole's still bleeding. I actually have piece of toilet paper on my asshole right now, just sitting there, just soaking it up as it comes out, as it's still running out. So.
Hey, if it's fresh blood and it's bright red, you're okay. But if
it's bright red.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I haven't gotten mine back. I know it's going to be rough, especially because I'm like already milked right now from doing all this house shit. So normally I'd probably have a little bit more cash sitting in the bank, prepared for the
inevitable
the pounding. But this year, clearly, I have less in the bank account than I would normally. So I'm bracing for impact, but I have yet to hear about that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it between that and the house. That's the show, which means it's time to move on to the extensive list of items we have today, Mr. Black, of video game news. Starting with, speaking of buttholes, hold on to them. The 3090 Ti, Mr. Black, NVIDIA's 3090 Ti has popped up at various retailers, and unless it was a horrific misprint, and I mean horrific, some versions of this card could be selling for nearly $4,000 USD. Well
Damn.
North of that in Canadian pesos. That is levels of expense I never expected. I thought, okay, the 3090 right now, the MSRP, if you were lucky to get one at that, is, $1,500, $1,700 US dollars, somewhere in that neck of the woods. So if I'm thinking a TI model, I'm thinking, okay, when it first comes out, they always like to gouge, and it's that, right now it's hard to get your hands on anything anyway, so they'll charge more. So it's like $2,500. Maybe we bump the price 5, 6, 700 US dollars for the TI model. All right, that's egregious as fuck, but I could see it happening. And I saw this, and it's actually more like 3,700 US dollars.
That's insane.
No! If I see a single, I don't care how wealthy a content creator is, if I see a single motherfucking content creator buy one of these things for clout, go fuck yourself. What an incredibly insane waste of money. But all the same, yeah, there you have it. So if you were holding out, I'm going to pray that your tax return was severely in your favor. If you're going to get into one of these. That's assuming you even find one. Well, we don't know. There could be like 4 of these on Earth, which might explain the price. But all the same, yeah, nearly 4,000 US dollars. So there you go. You know what? I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about it a little more because I've been playing a bit more on my consoles after, I get home from the house. I got like 2 hours or whatever after dinner. I'm just chilling on the couch or whatever. And so I've been playing a little bit more of my console. Specifically, PS5 is basically the only thing hooked up to the TV right now. And I was thinking, man, like, the experience that you get on the consoles is just, at this point, especially even like from a graphical fidelity standpoint, I mean, unless you're talking about trying to be some sort of hyper competitive gamer and you want Warzone to run at 400 fucking FPS or some shit, for whatever reason you would want to be playing Warzone in the first place, there is almost no argument right now to be buying into the PC market when the PS5 and the Series X exists if you can get your hands on one, which is still difficult but not impossible. You're going to be certainly no more difficult than trying to find parts for a PC that aren't going to require you to sell the first 3 children that come out of your better half in the future into slave labor. Like, assuredly no more work than that. And so I think it's just putting up more and more of a point on it, man. Like, all of this stuff, we keep waiting for the prices to normalize and whatnot, because PC gaming, man, for like a good almost 10 years was on fire. Like, the market exploded because parts were relatively inexpensive. The performance was blowing the consoles out of the water. The marketplace on Steam and other launchers, even though we lamented how many launchers continued to fucking pop up, now they're finally dying out. Like, we're reverting back to like everything's just on Steam again. But like, it was like nearly golden era PC in terms of accessibility, affordability, and pushing PC market forward. And now, if you can build a PC that can go toe-to-toe with a PS5 or an Xbox Series X for less, you'll be lucky if you can do it for less than double the price of a console. And so why anyone would even fucking think about it is beyond me right now. And you start seeing stuff like this, 3890 Ti. You used to own, I believe, a 1080 Ti, or a 980 Ti, one of the two, or maybe both. And they were expensive, but they weren't like, I could get this or I could buy a secondhand car that would do me for the next 5 years kind of price. They were like, you bought a 1080 or 1080 Ti, it was like a 1080 Ti, like what, maybe, I can't remember exactly, maybe $1,000 US, I think, maybe, somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And now here we are at the 3090 Ti for $4,000.
Supply and demand, man. Supply and demand. People are paying for it, so rip.
There's
You do.
just crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, but my question is, what is the demand really for a 3090 Ti? Because I know supply is hurt. I know supply is clearly still in the gutter right now. That's mostly supply side for like consumers, but because so many other like industrial level like mining and whatnot are buying a lot of the cards that do get made right now. But like, what is the market size for even a $2,500 graphics card right now? Like, how many people
probably pretty
truly
high. It's probably pretty high.
Are looking for it?
It's probably high because like there's just no cards out there, so people are
they'll buy whatever
right?
they can get their hands on.
The new iPhone, right? You can make the argument like, why was there really a market for people that want to spend $3,000 on a phone that they just
but
bought
they can pay for that shit monthly.
Yeah, but Still,
At least when you get, at least when you go get a new phone.
Spending the same money. I mean, people put this shit on their credit cards, man. Like they pay monthly. You know, like.
Oh God,
it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yikes. But there you go. So if you're in the market for a 3090 Ti, maybe don't be. Not that you might have a choice here. You're probably not going to find one. But either way, good luck out there if you're trying to get your hands on one. Speaking of consoles, PlayStation has made their next studio purchase. Now, they're not out here buying up Activision Blizzard, because that's not going to happen. But they are buying some studios to try and keep pace, try to get themselves some good developers under their belt for first parties. And this time, it's the newly formed Haven, which is led by Jade Raymond. Now, Jade Raymond is one of the... if you don't know who Jade Raymond is, I guess the short list answer for that, or the short example of that, is she's on the short list for most influential game developers of probably the last, I don't know, 15 or so years, maybe 20. I can't remember exactly how long her tenure has been within the game industry, but it's in that neck of the woods. She's bounced around in several places and done work for a great number of people, and she was definitely forefront for, like, when women first started having higher profile positions in the gaming industry for development. So she was at Stadia. Terrible life choice. Hopefully she secured the bag while she was there, because Stadia is gone for all intents and purposes. It's still there, but it's on life support. But back in 2021, I believe we even talked about this, she left. She was relatively high up on the Stadia team. She left, and then a month or two afterwards, she formed Haven Studios. And at the same time, almost at the same time, Sony invested in Haven to make a title specifically for PlayStation. I believe PlayStation 5, but it could be multi-platform or multi-generational, I don't know. So they already had a vested interest, if you will, in Haven Studio. And now I guess perhaps after the last year, they like what they see. They've already invested, they've seen probably some form of development, and maybe they're thinking, all right, we like what we see, and we need to get some people under our belts. We already have an inroad here, and so they just bought the studio outright. And so that was announced this week. I still don't know exactly what game, I don't know if it's even been made public, what kind of game they're making for Sony at this point, but given what tends to be Sony first party, you could probably take a stab at what it's going to look like. All Sony first-party titles or exclusives are kinda in the same category. Whether you're talking about your Last of Us, God of War, you know, whatever, Uncharted, it's all kind of like the same shit in a slightly different path. All very good games, but you know what you're getting into. And I suspect, you know, if I was a betting man, probably somewhere in that neck of the woods. But you never know. We'll have to wait and find out. What we don't have to wait and find out about, though, Mr. Black, is that CD Projekt Red is doing what I'm going to call pulling the emergency chute. After Cyberpunk 2077 clearly shitting the bed, and then the post-launch support continuing to mostly shit the bed, only having just recently got the game to a point where it's stable enough that you could maybe legitimately suggest it to somebody to spend their time playing. Announced on Twitter and, of course, other social medias and other avenues that they are creating another Witcher game. Surprise, surprise. This is their get-out-of-jail-free card, Mr. Black. Hey, we've caught a bunch of heat for a while. What could get us out of the hot water? It's The Witcher. So let's announce the next Witcher game. And here we are. The next Witcher game on deck. We don't know too much. I think one of the only things that we sort of know is that it might be taking place at a Witcher school, which might hint at the fact that you will be able to create your own character for this one instead of being placed in the boots of a character like Geralt. You'll actually be able to create your own character, so maybe this is like another attempt at an open world RPG where you're creating your own character similar to what they would have had in Cyberpunk 2077. However, a bit of a difference on this one is that instead of using their own proprietary engine, which they clearly struggled with for Cyberpunk 2077, they're using Unreal Engine 5. They did announce that as well. So they're not going to use, I think their engine's called like Red Engine or something like that. And they are abandoning that for the third-party Unreal Engine 5. I don't know if Unreal Engine 5 is out of the box equipped to build a game like this. Not to say that it isn't possible. I just don't know if it is out of the gate equipped for this. But I do at least suspect that they wouldn't have done this if they didn't think that the development process for this wouldn't be a hell of a lot easier than what they experienced with Cyberpunk 2077. Because as we all know, you're not going to get a second shot at that. You come out with The Witcher and it was in shambles, like 2077, your studio is done. Nobody's coming back for thirds on that one. So there you go. We'll find out more, I'm sure, in the not too distant future. Maybe even Summer Games Fest will have some more information from them on that. Obviously, lots of people are excited. This tweet quickly became the second most liked tweet in video game announcement history. I think second only, I want to say it was something Grand Theft Auto related. I can't remember. I want to say it was GTA 6 or something like that. That has a number one spot. It's a pretty big gap. I think the number one is like 700,000 or 1 million likes are in that neck of the woods. And this was like in the 300 and something thousand kind of territory, which is nothing to sneeze at. Obviously, lots of people still chomping at the bit to get back into the Witcher universe for certain. I would like to get into it. I tried Witcher 1, 2, and 3 on many different occasions, and I could never quite get into them. I thought that they were relatively quality games, especially a year after they were released, because almost every one of them needed almost that long to like work out bugs and all the other nonsense. But I never could get into them. Everyone's always like, man, The Witcher 3 is the greatest open world game of all time. I'm like, all right, okay, fine, I'll try it. I tried the first one, I got into 3, and just wasn't for me. Did you ever try any of the Witcher games at any point? Just the first
one, that was it.
Yeah? Did you get very far in before you noped out?
I think I played quite a bit of it, maybe 30 hours or so.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah,
you got a little deep in.
Yeah.
What did you think of the combat? That was kind of what sent me. I wasn't a big fan of the combat.
I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I think I played it. I think it was on the 360 when I played it.
Oh, so you were close to like launch, basically.
Yeah.
It'd been a minute.
Time ago.
It has been a long time. It has. In a move I never saw coming, certainly, or even considered, but it makes sense now that I think about it. A 4v1 asymmetrical multiplayer game in the Ghostbusters universe was announced, and we got a trailer for it this week. So, again, if you're not aware of, because I don't want to call it a new genre, but it's niche, but it's growing. So on Twitch, for example, the big 4v1 asymmetrical game is Dead by Daylight. I think would be considered a 4x1 or 4v1 asymmetrical, and there are other examples like the one that the studio that is building this game out, the studio being Ilphonic, made Friday the 13th as well. And so yeah, the genre is, I would still consider it kind of niche, but it is a growing market. It seems to be quite healthy. The people that like this genre really get behind it, and I'm sure Jeff probably knows one or two streamers that are into Dead by Daylight. They know life the fuck out of Dead by Daylight. So this is a good, I think this is a good property. If you were going to do another 4v1 asymmetric, Ghostbusters makes sense. And if you look at the trailer, it looks like it's going to be a pretty quality game. I think that would be, I think it's looking really good. And certainly the Ghostbusters as of late has had a bit of a revival in terms of the brand itself. We've been getting the movies and whatnot, getting the brand back out there. Certainly another generation of people that might not have even known what the fuck Ghostbusters was has been introduced to the Ghostbusters in various ways recently. And so this is another good way to keep that train going. It's called Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, developed by Ilphonic, as I mentioned, who did the Friday the 13th game more recently. And there was another game as well. I forget to list it here in the notes, but they've done 2 of these now. So this is a group that have done 4v1. It's almost like their specialty now at this point, the genre that they work within, which is probably also why it looks good. This isn't like a studio that was just handed the Ghostbusters license. It was like, go figure it out, do something, make it happen. It looks like this is actually going to be something done by some veterans in the space. And I said, hopefully it will be another good addition to this still sort of niche but growing genre. We'll find out when it releases. Q4 of this year, probably going to be delayed at least once. I'm going to say spring of 2023, because that just seems to be the way things are going recently. But if not, hey, Q4 of this year on basically everything that isn't the Nintendo Switch. You're talking PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, all that stuff, just not the Switch. I don't know if that means that they're just Gonna have to wait a little bit of time, but obviously the Switch needs the most, we'll call it optimization, to get games working on there. And so if it is, it wouldn't be surprising if it just happens just a little bit further down the road. It's hard to imagine not putting a game like that on the Switch. Fucking like 120 million bajillion Switches exist on the market. You want to put that game on there if you can. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 custom Xbox Series S and just S, the console, and controllers were announced for an Enter the Win draw or contest this week. I don't know if you saw this pop up on your timeline, Mr. Black, but I at first I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you. I thought I was getting memed, like it was like a Sonic movie meme or some shit that was on my timeline. As it turns out, it's not. It's totally a real thing. While the console looks pretty dope, so it's a Series S, not an X. So you know on the Series X or S, they've got that speaker kind of thing at the top, the vent. So they've got the gold Sonic ring around that, and it looks kind of neat. But at the bottom, it's Sonic and Knuckles printed, and it looks cheap as fuck. So if they got rid of the Sonic and Knuckles part and just kept the ring, it'd be dope. But you know they went and cheapened it up a bit. The controllers, however, literally have fur. So it's red and blue controller for Sonic and Knuckles, and it fucking has. Both of them have fur, and not short fur, like shag carpet type shit, basically on both of them. And the first thing that came to mind was, of course, who would ever in their right mind pick up a controller that had friggin' hair?
Dude, these are collectibles. This isn't, people aren't getting this shit.
Who's putting Cheeto dust on that controller?
This shit is collectible stuff, man. This isn't for everyday consumers.
Still, you want to be able to use your collectibles, right? Like,
no,
you're just gonna keep the hair in a box.
I can honestly say anything I have that's collectible, I never use ever.
I always like straddle the line between when I buy something that is collectible. There's like this fine line for me between I want to enjoy my collectibles, but then you don't want to devalue the collectible.
You've already got controllers. Like, this is a controller, right?
Well, I can tell you that there would not be any struggle in my mind over whether or not I'm going to use controllers with hair coming off of them. But all the same, it was kind of funny. It kind of reminded me, looking at them, it looked like one of the fucking Muppets. Either way, there you go. So if you're interested, if you're a big Sonic fan, you want some hairy controllers, great news. You can go and enter for that. The console did look pretty dope, though. The gold ring, just find a way to cover up Sonic and Knuckles on the bottom. It will look even better. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League has been delayed. That's the game, not a movie property. We've seen a couple of trailers for that at this point. And I don't want to say that it's basically like the Avengers game, because it's not necessarily, but it's like, I guess, kind of a similar deal. Probably, hopefully, just less microtransaction-y. But yeah, that has been delayed, and again, not surprisingly so, into spring of 2023. So add another one into the spring catalog of 2023. That will probably continue to get more and more busy as 2022 goes on. And finally here, AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution was announced to be coming to the Xbox, as well as PC, and allow for more developers to get access to upscaling tools and improve the game performance on consoles and PCs. So if you don't know what Fidelity FX is, it's basically a methodology of upscaling. So if you've heard of checkerboarding on consoles for like trying to take a game that's running, it can't run full flat 4K, so they run it at like 1800p and then it upscales it to like a theoretical 4K. It's a methodology of doing that, but better and more efficiently. And it's more open source than, say, NVIDIA's DLSS. And so it will be available in more places, like, for example, just mentioned on the PC, Xbox now because it's DirectX 12, but because it's DirectX 12, PS5 will have to wait. It will eventually happen, I'm sure, but anything will likely be able to get, or most consoles, most PCs will be able to make use of it. And it's nice, because it makes games look better and perform better, because pushing 4K right now, when a 3090 Ti costs more than your fucking great-grandmother's funeral, should probably look into anything that can help you get the most out of your current hardware, and that's a good way of doing it. That's all I got for game news this week, Mr. Black. Flying through it, 24 minutes and 34 seconds. That's a new world record.
I just let you get through it. Patreon.com/legtv. Head on over there. Throw some money at the screen.
Third time's a charm.
Thank you. Or you can get yourself a VPN. Using NordVPN, NORDVPN.com/OTT. Head on over there. Pick yourself up a 2-year subscription. Get a free bonus month. Get a massive discount with that promo code OTT. All right, stay safe, stay anonymous, watch different regions of Netflix, all that fun stuff at the click of a button. Super easy to use. You can use it on your smartphone, your TV, your PC, your Mac, your anything. You can hook it up directly to your router. You can have up to 6 simultaneous devices. You only need 1 account per household. Guys, they've been supporting the podcast for a couple of years now. Head on out there and support them. And for the price that is less than a grande cinnamon dolce latte a month at Starbucks, it's a steal. It's an absolute steal. It's 2022. If you don't already have a VPN, a virtual private network, you're missing out. Go get one. All right? Go. Run there now. Link is in the description below. Promo code OTT. That's it.
And now it's time for
movies and TV.
I have one fucking note here. Please, God, tell me you have more. Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender's first season is reported to be getting a pretty healthy budget, Mr. Black, of a little over 15 schmil per episode, which would mean a season total of somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 schmil. Not bad. Not bad considering, you know, what the last couple of times out for a not canonical cartoon version of Avatar has managed to do. That's a lot of faith, especially for live action. But hey, if you're going to do it, fucking go for it. 15 mil an episode, make the magic happen. You know, it's not the Lord of the Rings budget, but what is?
Nothing.
So
Literally nothing.
It's arguable that not even the Lord of the Rings budget should be as high as it is, but we're going to find out if all that goes to good work in the not too distant future. Well, that's true. I could have mentioned that. Thank you, Dr. Eckelberg. So there are some pictures that popped up online, of course, for the new Dracula movie that we already talked about Nick Cage being involved in. He plays Dracula in this, and we saw him in his garb. He's looking very Dracula-y and very Nick Cagey. And honestly, if you didn't tell me that he was dressing up for Dracula, I would have just believed that was the shit he was going out on a casual Tuesday. Because I don't know if you've seen what Nick Cage wears on a casual Tuesday.
Yeah.
But it ain't far flung from that. Look a little more pale than usual, but otherwise, yeah, definitely not too far from it. He also did, because the massive weight of the unbearable weight of massive talent is coming up very soon. I'm so fucking brain foggy today. Very soon, he's doing the media circuit, right? So he's got the front cover of GQ, Mr. Black, this month. And they did an interview, obviously, as they always do, with their front cover folks for this. And it was a good, GQ always gets good interviews, and they have great writers there. I read it here yesterday, and they paired that with a GQ, where the actor or actress goes on the internet and looks for questions or things that people have said about them, and then they give the reality of the situation type shit, whether it be a YouTube comment or Wikipedia entry or whatever else. And so, yeah, it definitely worth the read. I mean, if you needed a reason to get insight into the mind and crazy ass fucking, and I will say, I'm definitely known to be a little bit hyperbolic, a little hyperbole now and then, but Nicolas Cage has lived a life, Mr. Black, to say the least. That man has lived several lives, and a very interesting interview, for sure. I would highly recommend it, and the video is even fun to watch as well. The stuff that he talks about was very interesting, but all of that to say that just hurry up and give me that damn movie. I desperately need to watch that movie, Mr. Black. I need to see the unbearable weight of massive talent. Apparently they tried at first when they sent him the script, he tried to convince them to get somebody else to play him in the movie. He didn't necessarily want to do it because at first he was afraid he was playing a little too much into, the public perception of, oh, Nick Cage is a crazy motherfucker. And then somebody told him, he's like, no, it has to be you. And he said, all right, fine, I'm in. And he's gone all in on that bitch, for sure. And now I have to see it. I have to. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Somebody else was on Twitter super excited about it too. Who wasn't? The guy from Shang-Chi, the Canadian guy that played the leading role in that. He posted on Twitter. He was like, "Hurry up and show me this movie! I just want to see it!" Now I respect him even more. Great fight scenes in that movie, but now he's raging for the cage, and now he's on my team all the more. I'm in. Show me the Nick. I even changed, dude. The GQ pictures that he did.
Bro, your obsession with Nick Cage is scary.
I
bro.
straight up,
Scary, bro.
I instantly, I looked at, because the photographer that did the shoot for GQ popped up on my Twitter, and I saw just 4 of the pictures. I saw the rest in the article themselves, obviously, but just 4 that they chose. And one of the pictures looked like Nick Cage was straight out of fucking godforsaken Cyberpunk 2077, the glasses he had on. I immediately copped that picture and made it my profile. Immediately.
There you go.
Didn't even wait. Got in on that. If I was into that, I'd mint it as an NFT. Nicolas Cage, Cyberpunk 2077 NFT. Find it now on Super Rare. But that's all I've got, really. There wasn't a hell of a lot in terms of news that I spotted for the movies. I don't know if you've got anything on your side.
I know the Avatar 2 trailer is debuting in front of the Marvel fucking Doctor Strange.
They chose that. That's the lead-in.
Yeah, so everybody's going to have their first look at that. Reports are coming through where people, I wouldn't say people, but there's like some of the cast members and different things that have watched part of the movie. I think the first 20 minutes.
And this is Avatar we're talking about, not Doctor Strange, but Avatar.
Avatar 2. Basically, we're being told people are weeping.
Stop! No! Stop, man! I mean, like, come on! Weeping?
People are weeping.
Weeping?
It's such a beautiful story, and the visuals are just transcendent in movie. Like, we're using these words.
Visuals! Right? Okay, yes, I can see visually, because that's what everyone expects, but if you're out here telling me that the follow-up to the Pocahontas ripoff, or the Fern Gully, even harder, Fern Gully ripoff, is people weeping. Weeping is such a strong word, Mr. Black, because there's a difference between crying.
Yeah, there's weep.
Weeping is a different level of emotional connection to something if you start weeping. So, I mean, that's... Now, if you told me somebody saw the unbearable weight...
They watched 20 minutes, not even the full movie, just 20 minutes, and they're weeping. So, anyway, Avatar, first trailer is going to be coming out. That movie gets released later this year. That's going to be massive. Netflix changed their policies about sharing passwords. That's been like sort of the big thing this week.
Yeah, I retweeted that about the meme, because they posted themselves years ago. The opposite.
A long time ago, a long time ago. Obviously, things have changed a great deal in the streaming world.
Of course.
Basically, for those that don't know, on Netflix, and it hasn't come, I don't think, in North America yet. It's in, I think, a few different countries where they're testing this out. Basically, you cannot share your passwords anymore for Netflix. I think you're still good here for now until they update the policies here, or it's already still part of the policy. You're not supposed to, but essentially what you can do for $3, you can add a person or a family, I guess a household, to your Netflix account, and you can do that twice. So instead of saying like, hey, I'm paying Netflix, Adam, here's my username and password, you can just log in and play. You used to be able to do that for a long time. Now, obviously, they want to recoup some money. Yeah. And it is estimated that when they make this change,
that's a lot of money.
They'll make $1.6 billion more a year right out the gate, just right up front. And the reason is because there's so many people that are sharing passwords. Then there's a bunch of people that will say, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just go and get my own account. So they won't even add they won't even do the $3
just
ad.
Buy a new account.
I'll just buy my own. And then, there are also people that aren't super into Netflix that will now buy Netflix and then share it with a family member and kind of split the costs. So, they're estimating it's 1.6 billion day one. Like, as soon as they start charging, their revenue is going to go up a lot of money. For obvious reasons. I mean, there's millions. I don't even know how many. It's probably over 100 million people that have Netflix right now. I would imagine. So yeah, they're gonna make a lot more money, which ultimately you can't fault them for. I mean,
if it means we don't end up getting advertisements like some other fucking services are starting to bake in, even on paid tiers, I'm all for it. I will pay my $3 to give my parents access to my
you're
Netflix
okay for your
account.
household. So, like,
well, I mean, in the future, because when I move, I'm still gonna obviously provide access to that.
I mean, you're so fucking close to your parents anyway that like they might not even
get away with it. Like, all right,
like 3 houses down. You're like, yeah, it's whatever.
But yeah, like all the same, like if you like, it's like people were talking about this because of the Halo show is now on Paramount, right? Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus at the paid tier still has advertisements, and so as long as we can avoid that, fuck it, hook me up, right to the veins.
Yeah,
$3 a month.
That's been sort of the bigger, movie news. I don't think there's really much else going on. Batman's, I think, crossed over $500 million or some shit, or $600 million. And that's pretty much it for movie news. There's not really.
Uncharted did kind of okay. It crossed 300 and something mil.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I'm just gonna watch it at home. I wasn't that interested in the movie, so I'll just watch it when it's streamable. So yeah, that's done really well. So, that's pretty much it. That's it.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in record time, we are heading over to
tech support.
Patreon.com/LagTV. If you want to financially support this podcast each and every week, we put up a post called Tech Support where for $10 or more per month, amongst other things, you can ask us questions. We give you answers with as much time as we have, which today is a reasonable amount of time. This is probably the thinnest news week in podcast history. I'm actually not sure we've had a thinner news week. And it's crazy because it's not even like the summer months yet. Or like,
she's thin.
It's not even the lead up to E3. Now I'm scared. Like, fuck, we haven't even gotten to like the typically thin weeks. Shit's thinner than my hair. All right, let's see what we got for questions this week. All right, he's giving us two choices here, but I'll say I'll open it up to whoever else you can think of. Seth asks, you have a catapult capable of yeeting an annoying population into the sun. Which do you choose? Crypto bros or CrossFit enthusiasts?
CrossFit enthusiasts. Because you can get in some shape. I mean, CrossFit, I don't hate on CrossFit. I know that a lot of people...
No, so which one are you... So you don't want to yeet CrossFit.
Oh, no, I'm eating the crypto bros.
Crypto bros,
the CrossFit shit, I can get on board. Like, if my knees weren't so bad, like, although they've been fine as of late, I'm just not going to, risk...
My knees aren't great. I can tell you that much. My knees terrible.
I think like CrossFit kind of gets a bad name. There are like your certain CrossFitters that like give it the bad name, but if you do it in moderation and you're not like one of these crazy fucking you know exactly the type I'm talking about. Yeah, I think CrossFit's actually pretty fun way to work out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
CrossFit is really, in the grand scheme of things, it's like it's just an evolution, or not an evolution. It's a version of like circuit training. Like where CrossFit loses me a bit is where it's like the people that get involved in CrossFit. It's gotten better over time because more knowledgeable people have gotten involved in the CrossFit space. But it was like early on for me with CrossFit where everyone got the memes from. Yeah, it was almost as if a bunch of people that had not a fucking clue about how to safely perform pretty much every basic compound movement in weight training got in a room and try to figure out how to do all of those movements as dangerously as humanly fucking possible, and then do them in succession. That was like where all the memes come from. You see people doing the CrossFit pull-up, which looks like they're trying to do like a fucking, breaststroke, but on a pull-up bar, or they're doing these crazy snatch maneuvers and stuff that like it's just no way could possibly be safe for anyone ever. Things of that nature really fucked them up because like I said, in the grand scheme of things, it's basically like competitive circuit training.
Yeah.
And so if you do CrossFit, but you also know that there are things the human body was not meant to do with huge amounts of weight unless you don't want or care about the health of your joints for the rest of your life, then yeah, there's good shit. And there are some crazy, crazy fit people that do CrossFit. So yeah, but crypto bros, fucking straight into the sun. And like the ratio of intelligent crypto people to unintelligent crypto people that are just like screaming into the void of social media it's not a good ratio. Let's put it that way. It's a bad ratio. So of those two, yeah, I agree. I'm yeeting the crypto bros into the sun via this catapult. Otherwise, the other group, I'm gonna say soccer Twitter or football Twitter, depending on where you're from. If I see one more fucking person with a picture of Ronaldo, say, explain in football terms underneath like a global crises related like piece of news that's on, I will fucking lose my mind. So they honestly, I'd keep the crypto bros and eat them first. If I was gonna put it in order, shit, if I could get like 50-50 split, maybe that. There you go. Alexa asks, if you could choose to erase season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones, and I'm just going to say yes right now. I don't even know what the rest of the question is.
I didn't hate 7. I didn't hate 7. I hated 8 a lot. I was still I still was on board with 7. Like, it was declining, but it was like, it was still Game of Thrones to a degree. 8, it was just like, they were like, bro, we got to finish up the series. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
7 was where the red flags started to pop up.
Exactly. Yes.
Here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. Red flags.
And then in season 8, it was just all red flags. Yeah, it was one giant red flag.
Yeah.
You couldn't see them. You couldn't see the red flags. They were in the darkness that your TV was not calibrated to see, but the red flags were there.
Yeah. Season 7 happened, and people were like, "You probably shouldn't fuck her." And you're like, "Well, she looks good, and she seems nice." And then you stuck your dick in it and realized by season 8, she was crazy. And you never stick your dick in crazy. And then you realize, I fucked up big time. Now she's pregnant. I can't get out of this. I have to see this through. And the end result was half of your money gone for the next 18 years.
I mean, funnily enough, you just described at least 1/3 of the entire arc of Game of Thrones in that analogy.
There you go.
At least 2 or 3 characters' entire arcs where I stuck my dick in crazy, and oops, it backfired on me. Some of them were even related. But if you could, okay, so let me get over this again. If you could choose to erase season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones, but knew you had to wait 10 years after season 6 to see the end of the show, would you do it? Take into account that it would erase all memory of it too, so you would be stuck waiting 10 years to know what could have been. No. Fuck it.
Give me that garbage they gave me and just move on my life.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to wait 10 years to watch fucking 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. Fuck all that shit, bro. I'd forget that show existed by the time that shit came out.
I just like to believe that Game of Thrones ended after season 4. And then everything else, as good as 5 and 6 were, if we could just like 1 through 4. Some of the best television, well, let's say 2 through 4, because 1 was rough around the edges because they're still figuring their shit out. They don't have the budget, whatever. 2, 3, and 4 of Game of Thrones is like the pocket of television right there. Incredible. And that's probably, 2, 3, and 4 is probably what this Lord of the Rings show is hoping to achieve when they spend $6 trillion to produce a single fucking episode. A Dent asks, if you had to work as a random henchman for a video game or movie villain, who would you choose? Personally, I'd go with the Shinra Corp because they probably have a good dental plan, maybe even stock options. Yeah, probably. Shinra Corp, Definitely have stock options. Bare minimum. Bare minimum. So if you could work as a henchman for a video game or movie villain, who are you working for?
A henchman for a movie or a video game.
Yeah, like which villain from a movie or video game would you be a henchman for?
That's tough. I'd probably pick tough.
I'm gonna say I want to work for the elusive man from Mass Effect. So I'm gonna say, talk about stock options and dental plan. That guy's got so much money. If you're a henchman for the elusive man, you got to be doing pretty well for yourself. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say the elusive man from Mass Effect.
Damn.
Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. Yeah, sure. That would be pretty fun. I mean, really, half of them didn't even have to do anything. They were just there. They just reaped the benefits of everything going on around them. So yeah, that's not bad. That's a pretty good pick.
Jeez, this is tough. A henchman.
Who do you want to be a henchman for?
I'm trying to think of a universe that I'd want to be part of.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I went Mass Effect. It's good. It's a good, solid pick.
I'm gonna go with the Matrix. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. You know, I'm gonna.
Are you gonna be an ancient? Are you gonna be an ancient? An agent?
Yeah, I'm gonna be an agent.
So you're not Agent Smith, but you're like one of Agent Smith's subordinates.
Sure, why not?
There you go.
Because there are some cool villains in the old Matrix movies.
That's true. That's true.
I think it's something cool. And you can make it whatever you want. I mean, you're in the Matrix, so.
What are you gonna be a henchman for the French dude? The.
Oh, fuck that! No. I'd be.
I call him the Mandalorian because I can never remember his fucking name.
I don't know.
Marriage of.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably just try and be an agent under Agent Smith.
I watched a little bit of Reloaded. The Merovingian, that's his name. I watched a little bit of Reloaded the other day just for fun, and you know what? I think we said this on the podcast before, but. Yeah, the first Matrix is clearly the superior Matrix movie of the original trilogy. But, man, the Matrix 2 and 3 are still fun movies to watch. I mean, yeah, at one point you gotta listen to an old white dude, use a bunch of $5 words in a room full of televisions. But, like, other than that, it's pretty good. It's pretty entertaining stuff. Time tricks. Adam, do you get the first-time home buyer's federal tax credit? No, because the closing date was after the end of the year, which means I have to wait until this year's in order to actually get my whopping $700 tax credit. Not going to spend all that in one place. That by the end of this year, that might buy me a loaf of bread at the rate that inflation is going up. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, that's...
Buckle up. That might be a tank of gas by the end of the year. Although gas did briefly give us a bit of a break, but it's probably going to go right back up again. Back up again. But no, I unfortunately do not get to take part in of that this year. I have to wait until the end. If the closing date hadn't been moved, because we had to at one point, because of the seller side had some issues at the time, I would have been. And I would have preferred to have that money this year instead of the end of this year, but all the same, that's for the next time around the sun. You know what though? Speaking about that, and it is a bit like $700 is a fucking joke. Yeah, it's better than $0, but the thing, I think Dad brought up a really good point where if the government was really going to be serious about trying to help first-time homeowners out, the thing to do would be, instead of just this nebulous tax credit, would be to waive the deed transfer tax on first-time home ownership.
Yeah, it's 1.5%.
And all you have to do is just, so the only loophole, of course, is if you married somebody that had previously owned a property, then it couldn't be considered first-time homeowners if you mutually bought a home, for example, for your own tax purposes. But other than having to prove that, which that's whatever as far as the government's concerned, that's a way more effective fucking tax credit and more immediately felt, because you feel that immediately, right? You don't have to necessarily wait. I think that would have been a better idea. What's the worst decision? This comes in from Danish Devil. What's the worst decision you've made in your career other than the machinima scandal with Lag TV? Second Lag TV channel was one for sure. That fucked us in the pussy.
I'm gonna literally say that, like that.
Yeah.
We should.
I think that's probably the biggest.
Fucked up. We really fucked up there.
The shitty thing is that everyone was doing it, right? Because it was considered the thing to do back then. But it ultimately fucked us. Like,
yeah.
I thought a thought came into my mind yesterday. Not that we haven't clearly done better than the vast majority of content creators that try and get into the game, like clearly. But if you told me, if I had the choice of having our level of success in 2011 versus our level of success now and move that forward into 2022, holy fuck, man. Like so much more opportunity now.
Oh yeah.
Than when we were getting into the game back then. Like, if you're at our exactly, it was completely fucking fresh. So so many of the mistakes that were made back then by people like us and other channels now, all that's been ironed out, and there are far less things like minefield type things that you have to be aware of now that don't burn you for copious amounts of money at this point. And it was the same back then too. It's the algorithm. Like, whenever they change however they want that to be, like this year, is it like watch time, or is it like cumulative stats of some kind, or is it like a turnover in the first 30 seconds of the video? Like, what is it that they're deciding? Is it engagement in the comments? Is it engagement with the like dislike button now that one doesn't exist? So on and so forth. That was, but I think ultimately, if I had the knowledge, and we had the knowledge, that it was going to be a short-term trend for MCN-controlled channels to split their content into multiple channels, would never have done it in a million years. No. And it probably would have resulted in a much more healthy and sustained brand for Lag TV over time.
Yeah, we fucked up.
I really don't give myself that much shit for it, though, because if it was something that I knew...
Better. Yeah, we didn't know better. We just did what people were doing back then. It was like what was suggested, and we did it, and then we should have just kept everything right on the main channel, and then if something struck hot, we should have just stuck with that.
Yeah.
Fucking rode that wave out, but we just, we're too careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say, other than that, outside of Lag TV, for like my streaming side, it was abandoning Hearthstone too early. But I just didn't have the mental game for it. Like, I did the Hearthstone thing for, the first few months during beta, and that's what earned me partnership on this website back then. I was averaging 500 to 800 people at a time playing the Hearthstone beta, and I really, really, really should have, even if it would have fucked me up maybe a little bit from the grind.
I did. Just grind it out for the money.
Just do it and carried on and seen how far it would go. Because Hearthstone turned out to be something that stayed like very, very popular for like 2 or 3 years towards the top, and so it could have been something that would have helped me build a bigger fan base to jump off of, to do variety casting in the future, and had a bit more of a sustainable situation. That's probably the only other thing I can think of, short of the two channel Lag TV thing that stung. One of which was a personal decision that I would have known more about. That's Hearthstone, but the other one on Lag TV is just everyone was doing that. Literally everyone was doing that shit, and there was nothing you could have ever figured out about. And people are still doing it now, where they're making multiple channels. But the people that you're seeing making multiple channels and doing well are people with fucking massive followings. Yeah. And so starting a new channel, you can game the system a bit and really pump the fuck. I think it was Mr. Beast or somebody similar showed starting a new channel, and it was kind of like, I like Mr. Beast as a content creator, but what was a little bit seemed not disingenuous, but maybe like, I don't know if I just came across weird, where like he was like, yeah, anyone could just start a YouTube channel and in like 3 months' time have every video getting like 100,000 views or get 100,000 subscribers in the first like 3 weeks or some shit. And you can't even really game the system as somebody like Mr. Beast to lose the advantage of creating a new channel. And so like a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, oh yeah, I totally fucking do that. No, you're not. You still need to have something that pops off. And I think one of the things that he mentioned was that like you had to spend money, like he was spending money on advertising to put it in front of people to like spin it up. And then I think the other person that did something similar to show it was possible, but also was spending money and using their platform was Ludwig, who also did something similar to that. It's very difficult. And so even though people are doing it now, I wouldn't have done it. Everything on one channel, Lag TV 1, would have been the show for sure.
Yep.
Let me just do this.
And it's not even like we were called like fucking, StarCraft channel. It was Lag
No,
TV. We could have
Lag
done
TV.
anything on it. Like we could have
Literally anything. That was like half the because when we started Lag TV, it wasn't exclusively. The idea wasn't exclusively StarCraft. It just StarCraft is what took off, so we kind of became that. Phil asks, Elon Musk's Starlink, yay or nay? I mean, yay, I guess, if it's available in your region and you don't have any other options. I mean, I think it's a something that I'm happy somebody is working towards trying to accomplish in terms of what I guess you would consider a ubiquitous access to the internet regardless of where you are on the planet. That's a useful thing. And so I think that it's, if somebody was going to do it, then sure, why not Elon Musk? But beyond that, if it wasn't him, somebody else was going to do it. So It just so happened to be Elon Musk. And he won't be the only one. Somebody else will also, at some point, if they're not already in the works doing something, it will crop up. Dean Eves, what's a sushi roll you have that you always have to get when you go out for sushi? If a sushi place has a sweet potato roll, you bet your ass I'm getting at least one of that.
Salmon avocado.
That's the one true god for you?
That's if I'm getting a roll, I mean, I'm getting that every single time.
Yeah. Probably. I never get rolls. I just get nigiri every single time. I skip the rolls altogether.
I get both.
But if I do get a roll, then yeah, salmon avocado, or maybe something that's like a spicy kind of a dragon roll or something along those lines, like something that I can't get out of nigiri, because like really a salmon avocado roll is as close to nigiri as you get just adding avocado.
That's
so
why
if I'm gonna get a roll, I might as well get something that's like, a little bit different, but all the same, something along those lines. I'm not, California roll. We've said this on the podcast, where I've said it on the podcast anyway. California roll, that ain't sushi,
not
bro.
Sushi.
It's just not sushi. You can tell yourself it's sushi. It's not sushi. So that's never been my thing either, which is, obviously probably one of the more popular rolls. Somebody's like, I'm going to go get sushi. I'm going to get some California rolls. Not me. Not here. Mr. Black, we haven't even hit an hour.
Wow.
And that's the last of the questions. We are at 58 minutes and 23 seconds. And we haven't even... I don't know. It's the shortest podcast of all time. Is there anything else we could possibly, for 30 seconds... come up with something for 30 seconds.
Patreon.com/LagTV. Head on over there. Throw some love on there. Go check out our sponsors. We got NordVPN. Go, do your thing. Hit the like button.
You still haven't played Elden Ring, have you?
Still haven't played Elden Ring yet. Once I'm done this war here in RP, I'll jump on that bad boy. Maybe you'll be able to actually watch it. So we're getting there. Yeah, that's that. Oh, have you dabbled into the Temptation Island, man?
No, I need you to hook me up with a method.
I'm hooking you up right now.
You hook me up with that,
I'm hooking you the fuck up right now in your body.
We'll see about that.
You're gonna be like, bro, what did you send me? You're gonna binge. You're gonna binge it all, and you're gonna thank me at the end of it.
Bro, I will do my best. I already told her I did tell her about it. Like after the podcast, I told her I was like, you know, Jeff been telling me we got to check out this. If we want a dumpster fire, we got to check out this Temptation Island show.
That's a dumpster fire right there. I just sent you the link. All 3 seasons.
Okay.
Your body is about to.
All right.
Just get ready for it.
I'll see if I now that I have it, I'll see because we hit a point in Netflix where we've watched basically everything. I mean, we watched Man of Steel earlier.
It's a good movie. It
was a good movie. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Man. That movie doesn't get enough love, man.
No, it's a really good movie. I mean, they could have probably turned the film grain back a couple notches, but other than that,
yeah, that's all right.
Great, it was a great movie. I just it's not one of those movies that you pull out of your ass and be like, let's watch Man of Steel. We also watched the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie the other night. And what was the other one that we watched that was like super random? I don't know, but we started watching like Slavic stuff on Netflix. And
what you're trying to get at, Adam, is you're saying you're ready for something new. And I just gave you 3 seasons of epic. So prepare your body.
Oh.
You're gonna by this time next week, you're gonna binge all 3 seasons. You're gonna be like, we're gonna be talking about what season you like the best.
My God.
And I'll tell you, I haven't watched season 1 since it came out.
Okay.
Back in like 2019.
Okay.
I know that one was good.
Okay.
Season 2 is pretty fucking good.
All right.
Season 3 is wild. Season 3 just gets fucking. I mean, I think season. Man, I don't know.
This kind of sounds like you need to watch it in order because if it gets crazy, you don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
You don't want to start. Yeah.
Start on season 1, and you won't be disappointed. Then you're gonna go into season 2, and you're gonna go, oh my God. And then you're gonna go into season 3. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? When does the next season come out? Okay. That's what's gonna happen. So I just gave you your entertainment for the week. Enjoy.
Incredible. All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Possibly the shortest Technical Alpha podcast in the world, but sometimes it just happens. I can't honest to God, no news this week. But we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully with some more news or some more questions coming in hot and fresh for tech support. And until then, stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one. And peace.
Peace.